And let's start a little bit narrow, since some of these issues just get so confusing. But let's talk about nepotism. That's something that we didn't get to last week. So the facts are fairly simple. The president has appointed his son-in-law to a senior White House advisory position. To some people, that screams nepotism. Can you tell us, what nepotism is, why it is that there are regulations about this? Is this appointment a violation of any such regulations? And if so, what can be done about it?
Okay. So nepotism is the practice of hiring your relatives to hold a job. It's actually a practice which is regulated, frowned upon, or forbidden in the private sector as well as in the public sector. It has all sorts of problems. There's a sense that you may be feathering the family's finances by using taxpayer dollars to hiring a relative. Hiring your son-in-law is a good thing that will make your daughter happy. The New York City Board of Elections is famous for its nepotistic practices. That's an aside. People often hire friends and relatives as a way of both adding to their own resources and strengthening, getting taxpayer dollars on their side. It also can be a little demoralizing within the agency. People can get hired and promoted without necessarily attention to merit, and the person holding the office, the nepotism beneficiary, may often be seen as more powerful and more influential because he or she has the chief's ear than other people in similar positions, or even than that person's nominal superior. So it can be seen as a way of misusing public dollars. It can also be seen as a way of kind of screwing up lines of authority within an agency, and can be somewhat demoralizing.
So is this a nepotism against any regulation?
There is a federal statute, 5 U.S. Code 3110, which prohibits certain classes of federal officials from hiring relatives. The relatives defined include specifically sons-in-law in the defined category. Many people see it as something that was adopted in the aftermath of President Kennedy's appointing his brother, Robert Kennedy, to be Attorney General. The statute was adopted in 1967, so the timing is not far off. However, there is some uncertainty as to whether it applies to the president because of some technical language in the way it's phrased in terms of referring to executive agencies, and whether or not the president is himself an executive agency. And there's also some controversy about whether a later statute, the 1977 Civil Service Reform Act, whether in some provisions of it which basically say none of this here is designed to interfere with the president's power to appoint his own staff, whether that operated as a later amendment. Just recently, right around the time of the inauguration, I forget whether it was the day before or the day after, I think it was right before, but I'm not sure, the Office of Legal Counsel, which is the in-house office within the Department of Justice, which operates to give advice to the Attorney General and ultimately the President on legal issues that would affect the presidency, opined that the anti-nepotism ban did not apply to the President's appointment of Jared Kushner to be the special advisor. One thing I should say is that the statute basically said both bans a nepotistic hire and also bans paying the nepotistic beneficiary. I think nepotistic comes out of the Latin for nephew, and traditionally people were appointing their nephews, who might have been their illegitimate children, which is, I think, the origins of the concern about nepotism. But Trump was always never going to pay him, and some people thought that was enough to answer it, that technically the statute would apply even if he wasn't being paid. But the OLC opined, and this would have been an OLC appointee from the Obama administration. I'm not sure if the new administration has even made an OLC appointment yet. Certainly it wasn't. It was an Obama person who made the ruling, basically stated that due to the 1978 amendment to the Civil Service Act, that it did not apply to the president in this context. So they have actually gotten a clean bill of health on the hiring of Jared Kushner. And in some ways, it's actually, one might argue it's a good thing. I think he needed to give him a formal appointment in order for him to get security clearances. Otherwise, you could say, why doesn't he just use him as an informal advisor? I think in order to be present at certain meetings, he needs the clearance. It also means that actually ethics rules now apply to him in the way that they might not have or would not have if he'd not actually been formally appointed.